want the president to stick to his guns on whatever he feels is the right thing to do. He has no conviction. It's like, I'm on one day, off one day, do this, don't do that. It's completely incoherent. I don't want to sit here and beat the guy up, I'll be honest with you, but we need some type of a coherent policy, something that is going to stick with and make it work. He talks a really, really big game, and then all of a sudden it just flips and flops the other way, and it's just kind of crazy. I really believe, look man, he's at the beck and call of this stock market, period, the end. He wanted to stop the bleeding. He floated out his Treasury Secretary yesterday to talk about a potential deal with China that was close. And what did that do? Obviously, the market reacted in a positive way. No proof whatsoever that anything is even close. But again, this was a mechanism here. It's a lie, obviously a deceptive tactic to stop the bleeding here in the stock market. And I think President Trump really got hip to the fact that with regard to the Federal Reserve, the market wasn't reacting very favorably to that either, although I don't understand it, I'll be honest with you. I think the market understands that we are getting lower rates. There's no doubt about it. We are going to see further purchasing power losses of the dollar via that mechanism to a much greater degree moving forward. It's out of control, or it's in control, depending on how you will want to look at it. But that's really what's happening here. They want to stop the bleeding in the market. Now, the market is going to say, okay, now that we got this issue with the China tariffs, a massive flip-flop on that one, man. Just, okay, well, it's not going to be as bad as we think. No 145% tariffs here. Now, the market wants something. The market wants to see action. I can say this, if the market doesn't get it, we can expect the downtrend to resume. There's no doubt about it. Even with the Fed, when they start getting in here and cutting rates, which is, of course, their ultimate goal, every central bank has the same goal, to inflate by any mechanism they possibly can, especially when you have a sitting president saying, hey, you know what, we need lower rates. Nothing can make a central banker happier than that. Nothing on this planet, off this planet, under the ocean, or in outer space can possibly make a central banker happier than hearing from a sitting president that would need lower rates, because he won't say what that really means is a loss of purchasing power, a wipeout for the middle class here. The reason why the world economy, US included, is in the spot we're in very clearly is because of the fact that we have artificially suppressed rates since the meltdown of 08 here. Look, man, in finance and economics, there are two golden rules, and these are fundamental facts. And I want everyone to just do their own research on this. And to have a strong economy, you need a strong currency. And then number two, to have a strong currency, in this case, the dollar, you need a corresponding rate of interest high enough to support the currency. But these are literally two fundamental truths that are unwavering. But what are we getting? Artificially suppressed rates, currency purchasing power disruption, not just here, but around the entire world. So what happens is this mechanism is a wrecking machine on a massive scale for the economy, for the middle class, small businesses there. We just heard U.S. small businesses, because of their input costs, because of the dollar that is losing purchasing power, they can't survive. There's no mystery here as to why this is occurring. And the mechanism is only going to get worse, more pressure on small businesses here, on the middle class here. And again, it's a mechanism to destroy the economy, only to issue in a completely new system. That's what this is all about. They want us on our knees, and they want people dependent on the current system so they can pull the plug at one point and say, this is what we got for you. It's where we're going. People don't understand what's happening to them or why. They were looking for some kind of a savior deity in Donald Trump, a guy here who has an alignment not with we the people. It talks a really good game, but look at the people he surrounded himself with. All these people have their own best interest in mind. It's an incredible thing to see how people very rarely act in their own best interest here. It's all a psyop. People were told one thing, they get something else, and they still support it until the very, very end, until they themselves lose it all. And even then, they don't understand what's going on, and it's part of the game. It's ancient that's being played on people right now. It's a spiritual dispossession, but we're not going to see this change. If things remain the way they are, and I can't imagine there's anything getting in the way of this right now, the people of the middle class are going to be squeezed harder and harder as the world economy is taken apart piece by piece. And then when it really hits a fever pitch here, again, what this really comes down to is what the IMF warned about just yesterday. The financial system is breaking down. And you see, these entities like the IMF and like the president, they have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. It's their playbook. It goes back thousands and thousands of years. But people don't hear it. They hear stuff something else. It's kind of interesting. We are in a full-blown liquidity crisis on an epic scale, and every manner of everything is being utilized to keep the system fueled with more liquidity in the form of debt being currency as well, and the central banks and the Fed's buying it all the central banks. That's their goal, to own it all, buy it all, of course. So that's why we're in this new war in Yemen, which gets no coverage whatsoever on the mainstream media. You're not allowed to know that. People are not allowed to know that right now we're going on, 6 weeks, 24/7 of a new war in Yemen. How it was sold to us in this initially. Oh, this is about terrorism. It's about shipping lanes. It has nothing to do with it. It's all about pulling cash into the now. It's allowing the Fed to inflate, because war, the propagation of war, the buildup to war, generates a greater need for more borrowed dollars than any other human endeavor on this earth, or unhuman endeavor on this earth as well. And they're going to keep doing this. And the reason why President Trump is screaming from rooftops why we need lower rates is because, again, it allows the Fed to inflate. The Fed can't just they have to get into the markets. They create currency out of nothing. They get into the debt market. They buy it all with the units of debt they're issuing to everyone, and they get stronger. Again, it's an incredible thing to see here. There are still people locked in the delusion that President Trump is going to end the Fed. President Trump could end the Fed right now today. All he needs to do is enforce the Gold Reserve Act of 1934, which is put there in place so a president can monetize gold, revalue it at whatever he sees fit, back the dollar with it, and then we win. President Trump would give the biggest gift to the world by doing this, because we could take down the Federal Reserve, and we need someone in power to do it. We'll take down the entire system, but that's not what he's looking to do. He's empowering the Fed with more war, more reasons to borrow cash, and now screaming from rooftops to cut rates, which means currency purchasing power destruction. It's amazing, really is. It's devilism. That's all I have to say on the massive scale. So what we can count on happen is exploding debts and deficits on a scale that we're not going to believe. Really, people, their heads are going to spin around like the Exorcist or something along those lines. They have no idea what's coming. People thought this was going to shrink. Doge was going to change everything. Oh, by the way, as you probably heard, Elon Musk is now stepping down from Doge. How'd you like all those arrests? How did you like all those clawbacks of funds that we got? How did you like all those people that were held to account? Zero. Just like, I don't know if you said it specifically, but I told people that we would not see a single anything. Oh, but Greg, you have to wait. Wait for what? It's not going to happen. They can wait from here till kingdom come. It ain't happening. Well, what a run we've had here with gold. It's been epic. It's out of control or in control, however you want to look at it. But people realize what's going on. They're not that stupid. Personally, I think we need to see a little pullback here. Maybe we're going to get one, and then we're going to see a much bigger leg high. But look, I don't even think about this stuff for the most part. You know my take on this. We're holding these things, gold and silver. These are real money. They're insurance policies against the system. It's how we bet against it. What I've been saying to people for 1,000 years, it seems like to me. You see, look, cash moves through these markets in relatively predictive patterns. It really, really does. And if we understand that eventually we're going to get a locking up of the system where the entire credit markets are going to implode on themselves, cash is just going to move from one set of assets into another. It's very, very simple. Once this happens here, what we're going to initially see is a spiking in the bond yields. People aren't going to believe. Then it's going to go no bid. We're going to see a collapse of the world stock markets so rapidly that people's heads are going to spin around. They're not going to know what to do with themselves. And then we're going to see, first of all, everything selling off at the same time. Initially, when you get a meltdown like this is going to be the meltdown of all time. Everything will drop at first, including commodity prices. The baby gets thrown out with the bathwater. And then we will see this, again, cash move from one reality into another reality, and it's going to go into commodities, the most suppressed assets in the world. My favorite still remains silver. You know that probably. Then it's my second favorite. It's going to be gold. And platinum, palladium would rank, like I'd say, a 3. But commodities across the board are going to skyrocket because these are real things. And as the currency, the debt dissolves, there's going to be a few weeks here when the system, because the lockup is deliberate, and they're going to push us into this because they want, and they're going to do it at a time of maximum effect when people are there at their most vulnerable to get the greatest outcry, to get people to accept anything that they can throw at them, and it's going to be a system, obviously, of maximum. I could just read to you what I just put out today. Basically, what this is going to come down to, it's really not hard to understand here. So there's so much to this, man. But obviously, the end game here is a central bank digital currency with programmable money. We'll track and trace every transaction, and we'll not even own our money. We're going to license it from the system. Social credit scores, of course, tied to behavior, all vaccination status, political allegiance, digital IDs, and if you don't comply, no access to food, travel, healthcare, whatever it might be here. AI policing, cameras with facial recognition, predictive behavior monitoring. You can imagine a global emergency justification for whatever they got. But again, we are not powerless. In fact, that's how I end this off. I wrote to my pride. I call my followers lines here. I said, together we can pull out of the system, own assets like gold and silver outside their control, land, gold, silver, crypto, which I believe is outside their system to a certain degree, but not completely. Refuse these digital IDs. Fight it at the local level before it it gets rolled out. Speak truth because silence is compliance. We all know that. It's our refuge, our clarity. People need to be prepared to lead. People will follow our work here. We all have heard this one. The meek shall inherit the earth because they see through the illusion. And that's us, man. I can't believe that there is still anyone who can't see it yet. So this is what I'm hoping for. Reconnect with the source. I've been telling this to people every day, and a whole new world will open up for you.